sometimes the side couple ends up stealing the whole series and my heart. So here are the ones that I will never get over. Hi friends! Today it's all about side couples and some of my favorites, some of which I literally rewatch quite a lot as well. And yeah, so I'm excited for this. Let's go! Okay, let's get started with Kiseki Dear to me and Aidi ShenYi, because they're the side couple in this amazing Taiwanese BL, which I was very entranced when that first came out, and I've watched it several times since then. And even though I do enjoy the first couple, that's, you know, with most of these couples, not that I didn't enjoy the first couple, I don't love them, but it's just something about the second couple that just got me. And here it's because they have this beautiful dynamic, at first, where they kind of, for some years at least, grew up together. They're in a mafia-like gangster world together. And yeah, the chemistry between these two characters, between the actors, was just so on point. And then the angst, especially from Aidi in the beginning, when he's like, oh yeah, ShenYi doesn't love me, he's not in love with me, you know, it's for him an unrequited love, because it's very unclear, but it's supposed to be that he's in love with their boss, but I don't know. Yes, and so that's why. But then as the story unfolds of the series, also the main couple and all the things that are going on around them, and also in their mafia-like world, they grow even closer. And then Aidi has to leave because he has to protect one of the main characters, basically, and he goes to prison for 4 years, I think. And there's this really amazing scene, maybe I can put it up here somewhere. It's when he comes back from prison, and in most of the show he has bleach blonde hair, but obviously in prison he has his natural hair. And then he comes out and he's talking to the other guy, and all of a sudden this car comes, and ShenYi basically jumps out of it, is also wearing I think he's wearing a Stranger Things shirt, and he's grabs him and throws him over his shoulder. It's hilarious. And then there's the thing with the peppers and the spices, and when Aidi is trying to torture ShenYi, he used to do this thing before prison. He would make a lot of super spicy, probably ghost pepper or something super spicy, and basically torture him with it, because if it's something is too spicy, your body will literally register it as pain, and not just as a normal, as if it's a little bit of spice, then it's more a bit heat, but if it's not, then your body will register as pain, which is why he uses this as torture. But then ShenYi in those 4 years has built up his spice tolerance, so he's just eating it and grinning, and it's a shit-eating grin, and so that's why. And obviously then they get together, and it's actually really beautiful, and they have this whole conversation about that who's gonna die first and stuff, and they're you can't die without me and stuff like that, and it is so beautiful. So that's why I feel they stole the show also a little bit, because it was just such a deep connection, because they had already known each other through some really hard times, because I think both of them got adopted by these mafia-like people, because either their parents weren't really good people, and or they were already dead or not there for them, neglecting them. And so I feel that's why there was also this bond between them, because they both came from really rough backgrounds, they had a lot of trauma, and then they grew up kind of together for a few years, worked together, and then they were kind of friends. And then Aidi obviously was in love with ShenYi, but ShenYi was also kind of in love with him, but he was a bit dense. You know, they definitely should go to therapy if they would be real people, but because that's a lot of trauma both of them have. And of course Aidi also has more trauma from prison. Yeah, but and their kiss scenes are amazing, their MC scenes are amazing, and they just have the best chemistry. And yeah. Now it's all about laws of attraction. Another great Thai BL, and the side couple there has also not a lot of screen time, and it is because it is very much about the main couple, also because it's like not just about them as a couple, but also their relation to the plot, basically. So if you have not watched that show, you should. It's so good. Like, especially if you love shows like Shine, The Eclipse, Not Me, then you need to watch this series, okay? And then they're called T and Thaenthai. I'm sorry, if I pronounce that really badly. Anyway, but those two, it's literally, T is the bodyguard, and then the other one is the young master, because he is the son of like this like politician, I think, but he's like super shady, and he in the end is also, I think, like, it's like he's super shady and corrupt and horrible. And he's also abusive and neglectful towards his son. He nearly drowns his son in the pool. He like beats him up. It's like super horrible, abusive and neglectful and disgusting. And T is technically the young master's bodyguard. And they have this really deep bond, because obviously he can only help him so much because he technically is employed by the dad, which is why they have this really beautiful scene where they run away together and they're staying in this hotel room, and they're like, it's like really like beautiful because they're like really trying to break free from the dad. And then of course they have their very heartbreaking reunion scene where T thinks that his love is going away and that he's never going to see him again because the dad is doing weird machinations. But the young master, he's so clever, and he's like, I got off the plane because there's certain ways to get off a plane and they will never let you on, especially that plane, but for a long time maybe not on planes. And so he did that, and so they reunite, and they just have they have the happy ending that they deserve. And I also love when they're like watching stuff together on the couch, like eating the popcorn and like teasing each other. They have such a cute dynamic, but it is in the beginning also very stressful because it is a lot of trauma, abuse and stuff, and there is maybe even a little bit of trauma bonding going on. But yeah, I just really love them because I feel like they're also such an underrated side couple, because Laws of Attraction was not from like GMMTV or something. But yeah, it's so good. Like I said, if you have not watched the show, you should. It's really like entertaining. Obviously, there's a bit of angst and sadness because it's about corruption and like corrupt politicians and like political leaders and like things like that. Kind of similar to Shine. Yes. Now we're getting to Until We Meet Again, in which Win and Team are the side couple, and they were such a great side couple, and Boon and Prem like acted so amazing that they got their own series, because they also, I think, they also have their own novel, if I remember correctly, but I don't know, because like Dean and Palm are like the red string, and I think they're the hemp rope. So yeah, like it's, of course, like it starts, as we know, as like a one-night stand and as more of a physical attraction, but it quickly evolved for both of them into also an emotional, romantic attraction, and also that they kind of like there for each other, especially also Win is there for Team, because obviously Team is struggling with PTSD, with his nightmares, right? And which is like really detrimental, because especially if you're doing something like swimming, you need to have all your cognitive functions, because like you can literally drown, which is not that great, right? Which is literally what gave also Team basically his nightmares and PTSD. And that's why it always just like, it tugs so much on my heartstrings and breaks my heart when I see how Team is struggling with like the sleeping and the nightmares and the guilt. And I think just Win is just like such a soothing presence for him. Also, then he knows that he's not alone, and all these kind of factors, and so that he feels like better. And of course then he also feels better when once the issue is a little bit more resolved and he doesn't feel as much guilt anymore. But yeah, they have such a beautiful storyline also in Until We Meet Again, where obviously it's mostly focused on Dean and Parm, which I totally adore. I'm so like, it's so amazing also, this storyline, the actors. Like, I'm also excited that we have now the Om from Wabi Sabi in Gmail TV. I think he's gonna be great. And yeah, so I'm really excited for that, for these aspects. But let's go back to Win and team. And it's now raining. I hope you can't hear that because it's pretty loud. Anyway, so Win and team, yeah, they're just like, it's like evolving very organically, very naturally, but into a very strong bond with each other, and they help each other grow and just like be there for each other, care for each other. And of course then there's the scene also where Win is sick and team takes care of him, and it's just so beautiful, and I just love them so much. And that's why I personally love rewatching also Between Us, because obviously Until We Meet Again, I can't always stomach that. So if I just want to see Win and team, I watch Between Us, and if I want to have the whole package, I watch both, basically. Okay, My School President. I was really also in love with that show. It has also such a good soundtrack, and we have Sound and Win, who are like the side couple to Tin and Gun, played by Gemini Falls, and then we have Sound and Win, played by Winnie Satang, which I think this was their first real like on-screen kissing side couple. So I'm so happy for them that they've gotten so many more series, and they're getting soon their main couple series that summer. So excited for that. And so that's why I love about their dynamic. It's so interesting in My School President, because it's very enemies to lovers, like teasing, and I feel like that's in general very much the Winnie Satang energy and dynamic. And I just love that it's like these two people who like come together from very different backgrounds and very different also musical like backgrounds kind of, and they just like bond over music, and then they have to help, right, their friends with the band and with their love life and with that contest, the Hot Wave contest I think it's called in a series. And so they really bond and become like friends, and then they fall in love with each other. And there's this really cute beach trip part where they are sitting on the beach, and I think Winnie's character is coming to see Satang's character, and he's like, yeah, what are you writing? And he's like singing the song, and it's like this really lovely love song, and he's like, oh, I don't know if that fits you. And obviously that makes Satang's character really angry, because he wanted to write that song for him. And then in the end, obviously, like, we get really beautiful kisses, and I loved also the Our Sky episode. That was also really fun with them. And so yeah, that's why I think they were such a fun couple. And so I'm so excited that Winnie Satang just really is getting their flowers, getting every opportunity they deserve. Okay, Dark Blue Kiss, which is a Thaenthai show and a continuation of them with a side couple called Sun and Mork, played by Port and Gawin. And I have to say, like, I really love Thaenthai and I love them also in this show, but I have to also say that kind of Port and Gawin stole a little bit the show, because they just have this really interesting dynamic, because it's like one of the brother of the younger brother, right? They're like in university, you know, they're like young men in university, and the other one had already graduated university, has his own cafe. Like, his parents are not 100% supportive that he has his cafe. The father thing is like frivolous, you know, all of that. And so they, through certain circumstances, they come to work together, and they go on a trip together to find more, like, for the coffee, for like a contest that Sun is participating in. And there's like all these amazing plot points that just like really deepen their connection. And there's obviously some angst, some things happen, but they have such an interesting chemistry, I think. And that's why I always enjoy watching Dark Princess in general, because it's like I love Tae-Nui, I also love Pot and Gawin. I feel like they had amazing chemistry. And so that's why it was kind of sad I didn't get another series together, because I feel like they would have excelled at that. But you know, I feel like they're both now very happy with where they are in their careers and their partners and such. And so that's why it's fine. But yeah, so I love them. Like, they have all these like really funny, cute scenes where basically Sun is teaching Morg how to be a barista, and then there's obviously like Morg is also really like kind of helping Sun figure some things out, and they're there for each other, they're supportive. And yeah, like I love that in the end, like they're together, and it's like a really happy like dynamic, and they're still teasing each other and stuff. And of course, he's like Gawin's character, Morg, is still friends with the younger brother. But yeah, he's in a better place, and he's in a stable, happy relationship. And I feel like that was also kind of interesting and important for the characters. And so that's why it's like the best vibes. So yeah, also the intro song of Dark Princess is so dramatic, but so good. And so that's why I always get excited to watch it, because the intro is so good. It's like, I don't really skip it. So yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. Tell me all about what are your favorite side couples, what side couple made you be like, this is amazing. Like, I don't really care about either the main couple or the main couple is so amazing, but I'm watching it for the side couple. Anything like that, tell me in the comments all about that. And I would appreciate it if you like and subscribe. And because you know the subscribe button lives. And I will see you soon.